Go to bed.
Yeah, trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center, hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, is no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no dip.
Boom! We're back, everyone. What is the night before Halloween called? Mischief's Night?
I was flirting with that for the title.
All
Is that what
Hallows Eve.
Is that what it's called? Mischief's Night?
All
Yeah,
Hallows
Mischief
Eve.
Night.
Mischief's Night. All right, happy Mischief's Night, everyone. It's Wednesday night. We got the whole gang back. Pete, my numero uno, how are you?
I'm doing well. Before we get any further, because I know my sister probably only listens to the first 5 minutes of these podcasts. Happy birthday tomorrow to Kate DeLuca, 44. I mean,
Happy birthday.
I shouldn't say her birthday.
Can you believe that our siblings are in their mid-40s? Can you believe that,
Yeah.
Pete?
My sister was born on Halloween, which I think is pretty badass. So happy birthday, Kate.
She's mid-40s now, too. Happy birthday, Kate. Proud of you. Also proud of you. Back tonight, Steve. Welcome back.
I'm back for a night.
And Case, hello. Happy Wednesday. You have a nice day. Steve, I have my first question to you. Can you explain the difference between walking pneumonia and regular pneumonia?
I had no idea that there were two different things, but apparently there is. Doctor described it as like a really bad bronchitis.
That's walking or regular?
That's walking.
Very
Can you-
confusing.
Walking pneumonia does not show up on an X-ray like regular pneumonia does.
It's hard to catch it. It's walking around.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
God's honest truth. What is the?
I had never
I don't know. I figured DeVito would know.
Yeah,
I had
like
never
why
heard
not,
of it.
like
He's our
trotting
medical
pneumonia.
guy.
Trotting pneumonia.
All right,
Yep.
before we get into it, let's go best Halloween costumes. What's the best, Pete? What's the best Halloween costume you ever had?
I went as a zombie a couple years ago as an adult. My company, the company that I previously worked at, took a hiatus from, and now I'm currently at.
Nice.
They celebrate Halloween extremely big. So yeah,
Ooh.
like one of those huge ones.
Do you have to
some
dress up
pictures
tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going as Mr. Potato Head.
Will you have pieces that you can remove?
No, but I have big gloves and big shoes. It's gonna be a comfortable day.
Do they worry that no one will be able to work? Like, how do you type with giant gloves on?
Yeah, it's usually like a day off kind of thing.
Oh. Right. Steve, best Halloween costume?
Shout out to Planet.
In honor of the harvest dance that was at Milford High School this past weekend, go back to sophomore year in the yearbook, Mike, and you'll see the picture of the best costume we ever wore.
I don't know what it is.
Go back and look at the yearbook.
What's
Yo,
really the
does
game?
the harvest dance get wild or no, Steve?
Yeah, well, do they still
No,
do
now
like
it's-
dances
now
like
it's-
we used to?
No, now it's called homecoming, and it's like this stupid formal thing because they didn't want anyone to dress up half in the nude like they used to. So
Yeah, that was bad. Remember they turned the lights on? There was all nips all over the floor.
Case, I think your best Halloween costume might have been Shawn Michaels.
I was Shawn Michaels 3 times in my career. So
changing it up.
yeah,
One year I went in college, I went as Ali G. That was my best. That was my best
it's
costume.
doing for you.
Booyaka shot. And my buddy was Borat. He had a great mustache. And I used to just went like this all night. Booyaka shot.
You will never get this.
All right. I love Halloween. Well, never mind that. Let's we have a full night ahead. We got 4 people. DeVito already showed us his notes. We've got folks on the chat. How many listeners we got, Pete?
1.
Andy?
I don't know.
No, he left. He left and he came back. Well,
One of us signed in on our phone right now.
not me. All right, you ready to get into it? What week do we just have? Week 6? No, week 8.
Oh my god.
That was week 8, right?
This is week 9, Mike.
That was week 8. Pete, good news. I watched a lot of football this weekend, so I feel really locked in. I watched some stuff. I got some analyses.
Yeah, how'd it work out for you?
And not great. Did not have a great week. But I knew that was coming once Puka came back. But let's hear it, Pete. Let's do some recapping, baby. Week 8 in the books. It's time to get some DeLuca stats.
This is the week of review. We have the boom of the week. It was 175. It was by CJ Spates. Good for you, CJ.
That's
it was his
third boom of the year?
Third of the year, his 5th overall. He's moving up the rankings. He had previously not boomed. He was like the butt of every joke for a while there. And now he's tied for 4th. So good for you, CJ. Keep climbing. Beast of the week. Any guesses? Best player, highest scored player was
Josh Jacobs had a good week against me. I don't know if he was the beast of the week, though.
CeeDee Lamb took it home with 45
Oh, yeah.
points.
Monstrous.
It was his third beast of the week.
Monstrous.
He's had one. He's had one a year for like the last 3 years. Anyway, longest play of the week. Anyone want to guess? No. Yes.
There was a long pass. I saw a long pass. I forget who caught it though.
There were a couple, but the longest play was a 70-yard run by Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh yeah, I remember a long run. I forgot who scored it though. Long.
Case, why does that frustrate you so much?
It doesn't frustrate me. It makes me chuckle because it's just a throwaway line every week. Oh yeah, I remember a long play. Forget who did it though.
Case, if you re-listen to it, you have so many throwaway lines. Don't worry about everybody else, buddy. You get your content in order.
They're thoughtful lines. They're just not true.
It is pretty amazing how it like triggers into your head. You're like, I have no idea. And then you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I saw it like 8 times. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw it at Sports Center.
That was a great run. That was a great run by Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, it was. There were a lot of big plays this weekend. The scoring average was 141. That is a lot of points. Last week it was 120. So we were up a ton again, kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah. So we're due for a down week.
Not everybody.
Nope.
Magic number 136. You hit that, you go 30-7. You go below it, you are 10-33. A couple people on the negative side of that one this week. So that's the week in review.
Hey, the pod didn't do all that well.
I did great.
1-3. Pete, you decimated. Should we talk about that game first? Should we make it the inaugural game of the week?
I got 2 wins.
You want to do it?
You want to see who they're against?
You want to do it? You want to make that the game of the week, Pete?
I mean, the review of the week.
Can you switch it?
I can do whatever.
Game of the week. Oh, wait, that was the game of the week.
Whoops, sorry.
Game of the week. Recap of the week. Let's get to it. Case goes down to DeLuca. Big brother loses to little brother, or big brother beats big little brother. No one knows. Pete, let's do the recap.
Yeah, I don't have much of a recap. I just go on my own picks. Casey was the number 6 seed. I was the number 10. This was the blowout of the week for ladies and gentlemen. Take that one.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Blowout of the week, my friend.
I'm going to do the math. That's not true.
On a week when everyone scored a ton, Brian Casey remained terrible. I had lost 5 in a row. That whole streak is history. No DK, no Godwin, no problem. Thanks, Casey, for getting me on the right track. Cheers.
Case, let's bring you in here.
Yeah, please. My 3 points, Pete. 3 points blowout.
Case, you remember 2 weeks ago, you were like, I've been worried all season. My team had stinky quarterbacks. Now I got these guys with good quarterbacks. Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams, 6 points average between them.
Yeah, it was a throwaway line.
You got that happen, and somehow the Lions scored 52 points, and Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't even break 10. So are you viewing this as an anomaly, or are we at the point where you're 3-5, you're in the 8th seed, and you're like, I'm in big trouble? Like, where are we? Where's the sentiment?
The latter. I'm in big trouble.
You're in big trouble.
This is the second time this year where the Lions have put up huge points, and Amon-Ra hasn't been a big part of it, which is very nerve-wracking. He's got to be one of my guys that carries me. No, for everything that went right last year, it's coming back around. It's evening out. It's been a bad year.
How do you break down what you
25
do?
Years.
What's that?
What about the last 24 years?
I'm the reigning champ, Pete. Show some respect.
Case, what do you do? How do you view week to week where you go with it? Pete and I always say, I think we're right. If you get to 7 losses, you're out. So you're not there yet. Mathematically, you're there. Mathematically, you're in it, but you need to win. You need to stack wins. Do you have the guys that can stack wins, or do you make a decision to say, let me rejigger, take some other dice rolls, try to win there? Do we push it down? Where do we go here?
What?
You know, rejigger.
Rejigger.
It's the right word.
Just making up new words.
No.
The hard part is my best players aren't playing the best. Like Jefferson.
Dictionary. Rejigger. Organize something differently. Synonym.
Oh, yeah, I
rearrange. Come on, guys.
Good job.
I rejiggered my apartment last
Think of
week.
a word for this time of night.
I need to rejigger my roster here pretty quickly.
Yeah, you need to rejigger a couple things.
Yeah. No, it's bad. Jefferson isn't playing like a top 5 player. Amon Ra isn't playing like a top 5 player. It's bad. And the roster, bottom of the roster is bad.
Hey, you know what else I meant to ask you? How many people have you offered Xavier Legette to this week?
0. I haven't done any trade talks this week.
Hey, number one respect.
Yeah, might pay off.
Might pay off. Good thing you held. Good thing you held on the asset, Brad.
Yeah.
Steve, let's go to Pete's side. Pete hasn't tanked. Pete said he was going to play disruptor role. He certainly disrupted what could have been a good momentum for Case. Do you think this is sustainable for Pete, or do you look and you say, ooh, Sutton over 20, Mooney over 20? How do you break down where Pete came out this week?
Well, Pete had a big week with his stack of McBride and Murray, and he did it without. Are you all right over there?
I think one of my kids just did a cannonball off their bed. Sorry.
Pete had a big week.
When Metcalf gets healthy, Pete has some pieces on some teams here that are explosive pieces.
Pete's
but
pieces.
they're hit or miss, right? So
Pete's
we've seen it with him.
Reese's Pieces?
No, not that.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, Case. Slow down.
Pete's pieces.
I like some of Pete's pieces. They're real volatile. But a couple guys with some trades recently this week, Hopkins and Johnson. Maybe he gets some guys that are going to be with some better quarterback situations. I don't know. Pete's not a team you want to face on a week-to-week basis. He's scary.
I'm definitely not giving up. I'm not giving up until I hit 8 losses. The way that this league is shaken out, I think somebody below 500 might make the playoffs.
I'm going to be separating.
Well, I mean, if you look at the standings after the top 3, it's a mumble-jumbled mess. So
we're not dead yet.
All right, let's go. A lot of season left, gang. Let's keep fighting for it, everyone. But let's go game number 2. This one had a little bit of better fight, a.k.a. game of the week. Spates booms. Innis shows up. Takes a tough loss. Pete, give us a recap.
Yeah, Spates was the number 1 seed. Jeff, the number 4. Spates booming 175 to 158. It was the 4th highest score of the year. So good for CJ. 4th highest score. 158 for Jeff was also an extremely high score. It was his highest score of the year, and it was the highest losing score of the year. It had beat out Dan Larkin's previous high of 157, just 1 point below that. So Jeff Innis, the new biggest loser. CJ has a stable of running backs. They looked very good when they picked up Henry. Innis, he lost Mason, the running back on the 49ers, which is going to suck, but he's getting running McCaffrey back, so he'll be all right. He was a victim to the Commanders' Hail Mary, which I think is pretty funny.
I know.
His luck's going pretty bad. He's at 4-4, hanging on to that 4 spot, and he's got your boy next week. So we'll see where he goes from here.
So his luck's about to turn. Steve, give us the Innis look here. The Mason injury is a very bad luck move. He had a pretty good week, but there's some disruption on the bottom of that roster. So Tank Dell could get a bump up with an injury. Zay Flowers could get a bump down with a trade. Who knows what happens in Indianapolis with the Savior going out of the starting lineup? But where's Innis' head at this week, and how does he think about things?
So you were just talking about that Hail Mary. Think about how this game flopped. That Hail Mary doesn't happen, Mason doesn't get hurt. We could be talking about Innis as a boom this week. That those 2 player swaps right there. That's a major change in that matchup.
Did the Hail Mary affect the game or no? I was having trouble figuring it out. No, it just
happened,
right?
One touchdown and 50 receiving passing yards is not 17.
Not enough. Okay.
No, but if that doesn't happen, you're talking what's that, like 7 points, 7.5 points?
7, and Mason doesn't get. If those 2 big things don't happen, you're right, Steve. He probably wins.
Right. You're talking 168 now. Innis is down 10. Mason's going to get 10 if he plays.
And did you see the Pickens catch that wasn't a catch but really was a catch?
No.
In the back of the end zone, he made an unbelievable play. I thought he got his feet down. They said his second foot didn't come down. They called him out of bounds. He had some tough luck.
I hate.
He had his. What was it that the hop, right? He had 2 feet, but it was a hop, and they said you're gonna have the second foot down. You can't have 2 from the same foot. Did you see that one?
Is that real? You can't tap the same toe twice.
Correct. It's going to be 2.
I guess that makes sense. I never thought of that.
Case Spates booms. His team is loaded, and there's a couple guys who aren't going away. If not, they're going to get better. How many losses between now and the end of the season?
1 more.
1.
Yeah, I think somebody snake bits him late.
1. Wow. I mean, if we're going down 1, you're getting a 14-1 regular season. That's one of the 13-2 regular season. That'd be one of the best regular seasons on record.
I think I'm gonna get him, Mike, because he beat me by less than a point. I think I'm gonna get him back for that.
There it is. Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
Wait, Andy's saying the pod isn't on. I think Andy's doing it wrong.
Yeah, Andy is doing it wrong. It's live, brother.
Is that our one viewer?
No, he just texted and said the pod's not on.
Now I see it just went from 1 to 2. He's on.
It's not cable, Andy.
Good on. Case, good on. Case, good job, Case. Case, good one. All right, there you go. We'll get to hear about these guys in a second. Pete, give us the third game of the week.
Oh, shit.
I don't know who it was, so I need you to tee it up. It was DeVito. Loses to Lloyd. Lloyd doesn't get the 136 and gets a win. That happened twice this week. Let's hear this recap first. Dan over Steve.
Yeah, this was not an upset. Dan was the lowest score of the week, though, which was pretty bad at 131. He picked a good week to do it because Steve just didn't show up. Lowest total he's had in a month, and Steve was on quite a heater over the last month. He had won 3 in a row. CeeDee Lamb on Dan's team, putting up 45 points, winning piece of the week, made this look a lot worse than it was. But it was still a pretty bad one. Dan has won 3 out of his last 4 games, and the one game that he lost was that .22 game that he lost to Innis on the last play. So Dan should be on a 4-game winning streak right now. He is pretty hot, personally, and as a
It's pretty hot.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best looking guy.
Definitely youngest looking.
Jeff's pretty young looking. Who's the oldest looking? Steve? Look at his gray.
Yeah, probably Steve. Sorry, Steve.
Probably Steve.
Steve, you think so?
I mean, if you're comparing beards, look at Pete's, look at mine.
That's true. That's true.
Velcro, baby.
That's true. Pete dyes it, though.
It looks like Pete brushes this thing.
Nah, I got some grays. I got some grays. I got some braids.
Filler. Need some bead filler there. You got to get that stuff in there. Pull it out.
My mustache is so thick, and everything else is patchy. I am the ultimate Armenian. It's like it's insane.
Steve, you lost. You didn't coach that great. Tyrone Tracy might be an every week starter now for you. You, for some reason, went to Tyler Lockett, who didn't do anything. Give us your reflections on the week.
Tyler Lockett's been in my he's been in my lineup all year.
Where your regrets are and what you would have done differently.
Last minute, I was going to pull Keenan Allen for Tyrone Tracy, and I didn't. I actually had some pretty crappy luck in this game. So Tyreek Hill drops a touchdown that would have been 50 yards.
He did.
Tony Pollard, Tennessee was at the 1 yard line. 4 straight plays they threw the ball, and CeeDee Lamb goes off. So just some bad luck here. But I do like the fact that I'm getting healthy. In the top 3 are playing well now that Hill's got Tua back. Like you guys have said, if those 3 don't hit, I don't win. And I've gotten lucky the last couple of weeks. So
what's he doing?
I don't think I'm a playoff team, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
Case, I'm going to ask you the same question of CJ that I just had. I just asked if CJ of Dan. How many losses do you think Dan's got in his lineup?
I'm gonna go 3.
3. So you think he's going to get to 6 losses? Is he a playoff team in your eyes? And give us your thoughts on this game.
Yeah. I don't know if Pete or Steve said it. I think this is going to get really jumbled up behind CJ. You included.
I'm ready to get jumbled, buddy. Stinky week by Lloyd, you got to win. These are the types of games you have to win. You have to win 1 or 2 games like this if you want to sneak into the playoffs, especially if you lose a game by 0.2 points. I'm going to be curious what Dan does in the middle of that lineup. Team's pretty good. It's a tough week and you got to win, so I think Lloyd's got to take it. Nice when you get CeeDee Lamb putting up 45 points, but way to go, Dan. See you this week, buddy. I think I'm next. Andy took down Kaleli. Tough week for the chosen ones. A lot of emotions over here. I don't really want to talk about it, so give us the game recap, and then we'll bring everybody into this conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the upset section of the podcast. Going forward, the only winners are on the most fun golf team of the day. That's all I can say. We'll start right here with Andy DeVita, who takes home the victory. And
I love how you wrote the script, and I made you move the game, and we already did your game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I messed up the upset section. Oh, my God. Well, anyway, this one was probably the biggest upset of the year, standings-wise. DeVita snaps Mike's 5-game winning streak, which was the longest in the league, I guess, currently. Even Spates didn't have a 5-game winning streak. Mike, he caught DeVita on National Tight Ends Day with that stupid narrative. How did you feel about that one?
I can't believe how many times they mention National Tight Ends Day. Like, why is it a thing?
A lot of tight ends scored this week too.
I can't take it. I don't like it.
None for my team, but a lot of tight ends scored this week.
I don't get why we have all these days.
Why tight ends? It should be kickers. Kickers are better.
I'd like to readdress this whole tight ends thing after.
Why? You're a big tight end guy.
I have 2 tight ends on my roster. Case used to bust my balls constantly about the amount of tight ends I have, and he's got 4 or 5 on his roster.
Close the anti-tight end.
Don't sneak out of this. You love to bust my balls having tight ends.
And now
you have a ton of tight ends.
I think all our avid listeners know that Mike is the anti-tight end guy.
Tell him, Steve.
But you love to bust balls.
Good. Let's have a tight end matchup this week. You play all yours. I'll play all mine. See what happens. Let's do it.
4 on 2.
Let's do it. Yeah, 4 on 2. 5 on 2, buddy. Coming at you.
That's the content we were missing right there, buddy.
All right, we still going to talk about Candy.
Yeah, I'm about to good and plenty Steve's nuts.
I appreciate you guys not talking about Anthony Richardson. We can talk about management. Let's go to the last game.
Speaking of speaking things into existence, you have a QB problem for giving Lloyd so much crap about it. It's starting to bite your butt too.
No, my team stunk.
Quarterback problem.
Nothing you can do. My team stunk. Nothing you can do. You lose games when your team stink. Let's go to the last game. Darian won. Yeah, good game. 2 guys over 136. So this is another one of those tough losses. Kevin's team showed up, but he couldn't keep up with the Armenian assassin. Darian takes down Breen. Give us the recap, Pete.
Yeah, Darian 164 to 145. Before I go any further, I want to mention how weird it was that Casey said he was going to good and plenty somebody's nuts, and then followed it up by saying, but in the following sentence, like saying ass was too far after saying good and plenty somebody's nuts. Christian wins a dogfight with a top 10 score. It was his highest score of the year. Breen lost, but putting up 145 is pretty good. He would have beat 5 other teams this week, so good for him. Christian, if you look at his past couple scores, 124, 139, and now 164, he is improving. So same thing happened last year. He had a very good October and had the mojo rising. So Christian, once again, on the rise.
These guys are in a really interesting spot in the league because they're both 3-5. You look at their records, they're the same. They're in the standings for 6 seed, 9 seed. So you're saying, oh, they're not that. They also are only separated by like 60 points, 70 points, top to bottom. It's kind of cool that this was the game. It's a tough loss for Kevin. His team may kind of be back. Like, Steve, take a look. If Ridley's going to get that many targets, he has to be a pretty bona fide starter. And we have not seen a good Jalen Waddle. Like, I think Kevin has to feel in it. Do you agree?
Well, your loss is his game. With Richardson out and Flacco in, Downs now becomes a high-end wide receiver too, which puts him in.
I cut Richardson today, right?
You did?
I cut him.
You broke up with him?
Is that why you said? Was that the sad day thing?
I couldn't do it.
I thought it was just because he was.
I couldn't do it.
Finally, not the starter.
No, I know. We didn't talk about my game, and I appreciate we didn't talk about my game.
Absolutely stinks. I've been telling you.
There's 2 things in this world that I can't get enough of. 2 things. One of them,
Austin and Anthony.
One of them is hyper athletic quarterbacks. I don't think I would have had the. I took out Anthony Richardson at 12.58 because I was like, Mike, don't do it to yourself. And I know if I kept him on my roster and he was a starter in 3 weeks, I would have put him back in, and I would have got hurt. And I can't have that happen. So I just cut him. I just can't do it. I just cut him.
He'll be there in 3 weeks.
Absolutely stinks.
He'll be there.
He'll be there.
He'll be there.
Yeah. No one likes him.
Oh, he's the best, dude.
He tapped out of a game this week.
I think,
so bad.
By the way, I think you should go watch. I watched this thread of his throws. There's like a bunch of throws that hit his guys in the hands that they should have caught. He was really close to having a big game. God, he's so athletic.
I watched him at the University of Florida. The guy stinks.
He's so athletic.
He's a modern.
He can't throw a football.
Hey, speaking of the University of Florida, where's your Diamondbacks t-shirt?
In the closet upstairs.
Yeah, you're not going to dust that one off this fall or no?
How did the Celtics go to
I'm not coaching the Diamondbacks this year.
The Celtics are in overtime?
Yeah, they're tied. They were down 18 in the 4th.
They were at one point they were down 22 today. I was 22 tonight. I was like, I am done watching this one.
Minute 35 left. They're down 2.
They're awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
good win by Christian, though, guys. This was a good victory by Christian. His team's going to be right there. Jalen Hurts had 3 1-yard touchdowns. As a Saquon owner, I know that wasn't that fun. If he can have weak talk the whole year, Tua is going to impact Hill. Tua is going to impact Waddle. I forgot. I watched a lot of that game. Devon A-Chain with Tua is a potentially league winner.
It's amazing how much he changes. Just the threat of the deep ball changes the running game so much.
Everything. And like the bubble screens to him. If you look at Darian's roster, if Bijan stays where he is, if A-Chain stays where he is, if Garrett Wilson stays a top target, like he's got 3 guys who can boom any week. Give me 2 weeks. If he's 5-5, Darian's going to make some noise down the stretch if his team can stay here.
Yeah. The one thing about Christian is like he seems a little bit forgettable right now. Like we're not thinking of him in the mix much. Good spot for him. He's going to sneak up on some people.
He has the only tight end I'd play in our league, by the way.
Brock Bowers is a beast.
Kyle Pitts. Oh.
Kyle Pitts, by the way, that wasn't a touchdown.
Did
you see that play?
Yeah. Bad camera angle. That was not a touchdown.
That wasn't a touchdown.
Bad camera angle.
I don't understand how this happens in professional football. If you just run to the end zone, just run to the end zone.
Yeah. Worried about the wrong shit.
A lot of things.
All right, Pete, what do you want to do now? There's a good minute left in this game. I think they're going to win.
They got the ball.
Freddie Freeman's up with the bases loaded 5-1.
Oh,
you know Sheila's grandfather's name's Freddie Freeman? Did I ever tell you guys that?
Who?
Sheila's grandfather's name's Freddie Freeman.
Does he play for the Dodgers?
No, he died.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's goaltending.
Years ago. I never met the guy.
That was a big letdown. I thought he would say coming up the bat.
All right, do we have our candy ready, Steve?
Oh, it's ready.
Pete, your candy ready?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how you guys interpreted these instructions because for the people at home, it's the night before Christmas. I mean, Halloween. That was really that funny. I said Christmas instead of Halloween. Jesus. All right, so it's the night before Halloween, so I figured why don't we compare everybody to Halloween candies and their matchups? So with that instructions, it sounds like DeVito went out to left field and
that is not what you said.
All right, what did I say? Go ahead.
What you said in your instructions were compare each team to a Halloween candy.
Yeah.
So you didn't say matchups. You said each team to a Halloween candy.
This manager is like this candy. This manager is like this candy. And this is who I think is going to win.
Yeah, so we're comparing teams.
So why did you throw down a list in the text message? I'm looking at Cadbury.
These are the candies that I identified.
Yeah, I got it.
He gave us his candy list, but not who's associated with.
Right.
It was weird. It was a weird text.
I thought Pete was just trying to bust his stones. I didn't think that he was really confused by this.
I wasn't confused by it.
Very easy to follow as a person that wasn't involved in it whatsoever.
I'm also confused about why Cadbury eggs made the list for a Halloween candy.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Good segue. Let's go.
Let's get to the previews, gang. I can't wait to see who Pete has as these candies. And DeVito, I know his answers. This is incredible. Pete,
you don't know my answers. You know the candies. You don't know the
Give us the first preview game of the week.
Before I get started, you guys want to go over the top scoring teams over the last month?
Love it. No. You love to do that. That's one of your favorite gimmicks.
No, I will be number 10 on that list. So
it's a little crazy, and I'm going to reference it throughout these standings. So I'll reference it.
Hold on. Is this one of those Kaleli things where you're one of the top 3 teams, so you want to give a stat that shows you as one of the best?
No, I mean it's the second month of the season. We did the first month.
No, I like that, Pete. Don't listen to these guys. If you are, that means your team's playing well.
Weeks 5, 6, 7, and 8. Who are the top scoring teams? And Dan Larkin's number 1 at 159. Oh. Yeah, not CJ, which I was kind of surprised by. CJ right behind him, though, at 150. Then it starts to get interesting. Number 3 is Didarian, 144.
Sneaky.
Number 4 is me at 142. Number 5 is Mike at 136.
Go average.
Innis at 139. DeVita at 129. DeVito at 128. Casey, 123. And then Breen at 97. Breen at the
97?
97. He put up a 54-pointer. So
yeah, that was bad.
That will ruin it. Wow. So among teams that are real, Casey's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, my team's bad. We've been over this.
Your team
we
is
just
bad.
lost-
They're just
Lost our
underperforming.
only viewer.
They got bored by your content.
So we have 0 viewers right now.
It's just me.
It's just us.
I'll be back in a second. Let's get to the candy rankings, Pete. Go.
All right, Mike, the number 2 seed. What did I just say? You were number 5.
Wait, can I ask you a question? Do you guys
Yeah.
think we'll have any candy overlap?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
Same
Wow.
candies, different associations.
All right,
You
I'm going
don't
to
think,
say
okay,
that.
you don't think we will have one same candy, same person?
Are we staying on the honor code here? No.
Of course.
Case, you watching this?
I'm not that creative to go off the honor code.
Well, meaning if I said he's a Reese's peanut butter cup, and then you change it to a Reese's peanut butter cup,
No,
you have the same
what do you-
answer.
Case,
What?
did you watch what happened?
No. Now I am. Yeah.
Oh.
It's gonna
What's
happen.
wrong with this guy? What are you questioning people's honor?
I just asked if we're sticking to it. And yes.
Go ahead, Pete.
It's a little
All right,
funny.
Mike, you're the number 2 seed. You're number 5 in scoring over the last month. Dan, the number 3 seed. He's number 1 in scoring. Mike, I'm going to say you're M&Ms. You're good. You're not great, but you're always there. And your team comes in different varieties every year. Sometimes you're a little nutty. Dan is the kind of guy that gives out boxes of raisins on Halloween, and I say that because he's afraid to have fun. He doesn't want to do trades, so he's too cheap to give out toothbrushes. I'd say that like he's basically the box of raisins of Halloween. With Caleb Williams this week playing in Arizona, though, he has a shot for those raisins to turn into raisinets, and that would be a pretty good game for him. So I'm going to pick Dan with some raisinette quarterbacks. That sounds bad, but Dan's going to be my boom.
So he's got
Oh,
some-
Dan, you're gonna ride the hot.
quarterbacks.
You're gonna ride the hot month. Let's bring DeVito Candy Boy into it. Steve, I'm going to have you name both of these teams' candies, but I want you to take a look at roster of the chosen ones. Interesting spot my team's in. I got Puka back way too late. I would have played him if he was going to play. And then I have a bunch of dart throws. So take a look at where you think the bottom of the roster should go per usual. That's where the decisions come. Give us your pick and what candies you have us as.
I'm a little worried for you about Higgins with that leg injury. He's really soft.
So soft. His soft tissue is so soft.
Terrible. I do love Chase Brown. I think now he's going to finally start to show up. That trade's going to pay some dividends for you. If Higgins is out, who do you go to? You go to Chubby or Tillman?
It depends if what's his name plays. It depends if ETN plays. I might go Tillman. I might go McMillan. I don't know. I actually don't know where I turn. Certainly not Christian Watson, Steve.
Hey,
He told me to play Christian Watson last week, guys.
No. Come over who?
I don't remember. Go, just make your pick. I don't care.
Over Chubby.
Another soft tissue guy.
Do you think Higgins gets more street credit because he killed the man on the field?
Mike, do you think you're a Tootsie Pop or candy corn?
I don't know, but I have candy corn in this game, so I'm curious where you go with this.
Who do you want me to give?
I don't know.
I'll go
Make
you
your-
first.
do
I'll go
your
you
thing.
first.
Do your thing.
I'll go you
Come on,
first. You're a Tootsie
Correct.
Pop. You're a Tootsie Pop. You taste great early. Those fruit flavors. Then you get down to the end, and it's just this disgusting chocolate gets stuck in your teeth at the end.
Yeah.
Really.
It doesn't take too many licks to get in the center either.
Dan's my candy corn. Great Halloween candy. Great idea at the time. Solid pick early, and then just a clump of sugar at the end. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to survive.
There you go.
Who's your
Good
pick?
job, Steve.
I got Dan this week.
Superlatives?
No superlative.
Case, I'm going to have you take a look at Dan's roster. Dan's roster is pretty complete. I think the only place he's got potential problems this week is this Brian Thomas injury. Will the Brian Thomas injury come up? And then the one thing he has that's interesting is if Caleb Williams goes off, at some point he'll throw the ball to DJ Moore again. So do you think about these two bouncing off of each other, and who's your pick? And what's your candy?
Just throw a shout out to Jeff Innes in one of my throwaway lines from last week. I complimented Dan on the Brian Thomas draft pick as being a good steal. He scored 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games, Jeff. So that dude is a fantasy relevant player. I like him. If he stays healthy, I like him in the mix this week. I like Dan this week as my pick. Dan is
Jeff doesn't care about you.
Yes, he does.
He has to defend his points. It's defend himself.
Yeah, I'm defending my takes with actual facts, Pete.
Oh God!
Nobody cares. You just have a spite point.
No. Case cares.
I care.
Brian cares. Don't worry, Case. I got you.
Oh man, Case.
I will say this: I get a little confused by Dan's Ross thing. Like, to make it relevant, when Pete puts together his lineup, there's a chronological order to it. You kind of see his high-end plays again. CD Lamb's hiding at the bottom of his roster really throws me off. I have a hard time following it. So,
this kid loves my roster.
Dan is a smooth, suave
operator,
Italian. For me, he's caramello for a candy bar. Caramello.
He's the only non-Italian in the league. His last name's Larkin.
It's Larkin.
No vowel.
Smooth Italian caramello. Dan's team is smooth as caramel. He's my caramello. Mike, you're a Milky Way. All right.
Right.
Classic candy bar.
Okay.
Probably is going to get you in the top half of candy bars, but not quite to put you over the top when you measure yourself against other primo candy bars.
Reoccurring
your entire fantasy football career. So solid. I'm taking the caramello boy this week. I'm taking Lloyd. No surprise.
Milky Way Midnight, one of the most underrated candy bars going. I'm going to take myself in this game, guys, to be quite honest with you. I like where my team is at. I know that's a weird thing to say. What, you don't like Milky Way Midnight?
That's the most disgusting, worst call I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh, no way. Well, I think you're wrong. Puga's back. I've ridded myself of the Anthony Richardson conundrum, and I watched a lot of that Falcons-Bucks game. I like the idea of going against that Falcons defense that seems to stink. I think I'm going to put up a nice game this week. I'm going to take the Gummy Bears and the Chosen Ones. Why gummy bears, everyone? Did you know that last year more children choked on gummy bears than any other candy? They're delicious, but it's too early for the Chosen Ones to choke just yet. I'm taking the win. And DeVito, our first candy overlap. I'm going to beat Candy Corn Boy. And why is Dan Candy Corn Boy? Because everyone looks and they say, I think I'd like candy corn. Who is ever going to pick candy corn? Because candy corn has never won. So I'll take it. Gummy bears. Take down candy corn.
Wax.
You don't like candy corn?
Oh,
I hate candy corn.
gross.
What?
Bad.
Love it.
Bad.
All right, let's go to the second game. This is kind of fun. This candy bit. This is like the old days when we used to do the Seinfeld characters. That was still
You know that candy corn is invented in Italy? Another nice connection there for Dan.
You know what candy corn is flavored with? Like, I had no idea what the flavoring is. Vanilla extract.
Marinara?
No, vanilla extract. I was like, oh, vanilla. Okay.
All right, game number 2, guys. Let's go to it. Tall boy.
All right,
Darren,
game number 2. CJ against Christian. In the last month, this is the number 2 scoring team against the number 3 scoring team. So we got a showdown here. The battle of Whippoorwill / Penny Lane. Some way to Darian is pounding his fist into his open hand, just getting ready with his bandana and his chain, just going for it. All right, if we're going to go with candy bars, I'm going to go with Spates. I'm going to say that he's a Snickers bar, not just the mini size, the house that gives out king size. The ones that flex on the king size candy bars. Oh, Casey we got a little. Don't even try to talk over me. I'll mute you now. All right. So CJ flexing status. It's not about the candy. All right. Great. Christian, if he's a candy bar, you know what I really think he is? He's those plastic fangs that they gave out. Not because God knows that kid's not eating any goddamn sugar, that skinny prick. So I'm gonna say that he's more of those Dracula fangs. Anyway, when you get down to business, CJ has outscored him 3 straight weeks. The floor is too high for CJ. I'm gonna pick him. However, the scoring is tight. I'm nervous about this one. I'm not locking it in. I'm not going anything crazy, but I'm picking CJ to win here.
All right, I love that pick. It seems like we have some candy overlap here. So, Case, I'm going to tip off that you're going Snickers. Give me the Spades preview. Team is locked and loaded. Don't think he has many decisions. Assuming Jaden Daniels is healthy, give us your candy pick and give us your game pick.
Yeah, assuming Jaden's healthy, I think he's locked and loaded. It's a stellar lineup. That running back depth is outstanding. I have CJ as my Snickers bar, and I also wrote down Pete Snickers bar. The big one, not your little pocket size one. Spates is having a huge year. big Snickers bar. That's what he's classifying as, and probably a stalwart of a candy bar as there is.
Hey, Case, you kind of seem like a guy that eats a Snickers bar like face down.
Like my face is down, or like
no, like you want to feel the veins on your tongue.
You want to feel the nuts on my
Go ahead.
So much ball talk.
This is gonna get an explicit rating. For Christian, I went one of the OGs, so one with the classic candy bar, but one that sort of had its heyday back in the day. Not exactly a relevant candy bar anymore, and sort of tied into his fantasy relevance at this point. Big CGD is a Kit Kat. Kit Kat bar, underwhelming chocolate bar, but had its time in the 90s.
Wow.
Been the market's evolved too much for it to keep up, in my opinion.
Shade on Kit Kat. Who are you picking? I guess you're picking Snickers over Kit Kat.
I'm picking Spates. I'm picking Spates as my boom this week. Similar to the matchup with Innis last week, I don't think Christian's fully healthy enough to get on the level, and ETN's hamstring there at the bottom is an example of that. So I'm picking Spates as my boom.
We've got an interesting couple positions here, Steve. That's why I had you go with Christian. Pittman is both injured but could have Flacco back. He has ETN slotted in. I don't know if ETN's playing yet. So give us your take on those two. Give us your candy bars and make a pick.
Well, I really don't like Pittman at all. I told you I like Downs way more than I like Pittman. When Flacco played, he went to Downs more than he went to Pittman. And ETN, even if he comes back, there's going to be a split there at best for him with Bigsby. So I don't love ETN in the lineup. I would actually go back to the well and go to Pitts. That Dallas defense struggles. They just struggled last week against Kittle with their tight end. I'd go right back to that. But yeah, I'm taking Spates as my lock. Spates is actually my starburst. So really excited to open the package every time. The temptation of that color that you're going to like. The rest of the time, though, like in past years with him, just when you wanted him to boom Mike, you were disappointed. So maybe he's going to have
yellow.
Orange is the worst.
Orange and yellow are left in the package. This guy.
I would go on yellow.
Didarian is my Three Musketeers bar. Sounds great, looks great from the outside. Poison on the inside, too soft. That nougat's just way too soft.
Poison.
Too soft.
Can't call him soft poison.
His team's too soft. He has too many injuries right now. A little too much of volatility here. I like Spates, and he's my lock.
Steve, you're doing great on the candies, by the way. It's really good. It's really good. I'm gonna join this
8 weeks all the time. Yeah.
I'm gonna join. This is gonna DeVito's whole new bit. He's gonna do candies every week. This is gonna be good.
No, this sucked. I hated this.
I'm gonna join the space train. His team's locked and loaded. I do think a loss is coming in the next couple weeks just because of fate and circumstance. I don't love some of these matchups that Darian has. I worry that they gave Hurts 3 goal line touches, that they'll want to give the other guys some love. The tight ends, I don't trust him. So I'm going to take Spates. I'm not going to pick a boom. I'm not going to pick a lock. I'll save those for some later dates. I have Spates as the most traditional, best combination that I think you can get in candy, chocolate and peanut butter. I've got Spates as my Reese's peanut butter cups. And Darian, I like the traditionalist lens. I like where you went there. I like the historical notes that Darian throws. You're never going to have him be the lead. Great supporting cast if you put him with a marshmallow. He's my Hershey bar, Christian Darian. But you can never pick a Hershey over a Reese's. Give me the Reese's. Spates, sweep.
You see that?
Good?
Yeah.
Game 3, let's do it.
Reese's is my favorite candy bar. And
yeah, welcome to the club.
Spates doesn't have the historic credibility to be a Reese's.
Welcome to the club. It's everyone's favorite.
I know. So
all right.
I had 4 today.
Can't wait to have these guys talk about their own team. Let's hear it. 8 versus 5, 5 versus 8. Steve versus Case. 1 ascending, 1 descending. Let's get some picks and some candy.
Yeah, Steve has outscored Casey over the last month. He's the number 7 scoring team. Casey's the number 9 scoring team. Steve, through 8 weeks, it's a tale of 2 different teams. 1-3 to start the year, and then 3-1 over the last 4 weeks. So tale of 2 teams. I'm thinking left Twix, right Twix. I'm going Twix bar for Steve DeVito.
Oh, 2 for me, none for you.
Yeah. So which one's going to show up? Is going to be left Twix or right Twix going forward? I have no idea. We'll see. For Brian Casey, I love Brian Casey. I like his team. It's talented. And when they say everyone was going to say Reese's Cups is the best, right? But then there's the pumpkin Reese's Cup. That's the best one. It's succulent. It's full. It's seasonal. The only thing is, come November 1st, it's completely gone, like Brian Casey's team. So I'm going to say that he is the Reese's pumpkin.
I'll take that. That's nice.
It wasn't that bad. Guys, I want you to
I don't feel the love, Pete, as much as you express sometimes.
Come November 1st, both of you gone.
I'm going to have you guys cross-analyze each other's team. Case, you look at DeVito's roster. You've got the 3 stalwarts. I think Lamar's Q is not really a Q. Steve's going to shake his head and say he's good. Rest day. He'll be back. Tough matchup. But he's got Q's on the board. He's got a couple dart throws in there. Case, are you worried? Where are you worried? And who's your pick and your candy?
There's no reason for me to be confident about anything. I'm worried about everything right now. Let me open up my thing.
How do you feel about the election?
Where's our matchup, Steve? Oh, so for Steve, I want to do this tight end battle, Steve. Are you going to get Mark Andrews in there now that he scored 4 times in the last 3 games? Is he going to get in there now?
I don't know.
All right, let's put him in. Let's have a tight end battle.
Is this your way of trying to like maneuver to get a better
I need to do something because my team's Steve for me is another classic candy bar, but one that hit its prime early on in life, similar to Steve's athletic career. Sort of a maybe 2 decades ago prime, and that's the Baby Ruth bar. So Steve is my Baby Ruth.
I love a Baby Ruth.
Yeah. Baby Ruth's delicious.
And for my team, I'm a whatchamacallit. Because I have no idea what's going on with my team. I have no idea what's happening. I don't even know what's in a whatchamacallit. I just saw the name. It made sense. My team sucks. I have no idea what's going on. Whatchamacallit is the title of my season. I'm taking myself as the upset this week because I need an upset.
I love that. Case, that was your best candy bar. Case, just of course, your best candy bar was the one you chose for yourself.
It's a totally stat line.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. Look it up.
Steve, are you worried this is the week Case's boys get a rebound when you look at the roster and then give us your pick and your candy?
Sure do. I think Jefferson, Brown, St. Brown, and Cup all have huge weeks for him. They have really good matchups, plus matchups. And they've all been really, really bad all at once, which means at some point here they're going to be really, really good. I think in a couple rivalry games here, the Rams and the Seahawks, Cooper Kupp plays well against the Seahawks, and the Seahawks were just absolutely throttled at home. And then St. Brown on the road against Green Bay, again, plays well against Green Bay. I think those 2 guys are going to have monster games for him. And Case, I love Cade Otton. Mike, I said this to you last week. He's the target guy for Mayfield now. So I have Case.
When you guys have that,
Case is my upset. My candy that I chose. Case, I have you as a York peppermint patty.
Because you suck.
You're likable to really only a select group of people. And these Mike is one of them.
I love York peppermint patty.
Let me get to this. Mike loves York peppermint patties, right?
That makes
There's this tasty, yummy formula, and it turns into something nauseating if you really don't like it. So, to Mike, you're yummy. Maybe to others, you're not. Your team is kind of nauseating right now for you, so it's tough.
Yeah.
I chose for my candy. I love you. I like York peppermint patties. Airheads used to be relevant to only a certain number of people. You're kind of hanging around. You're on the fringe, but you're just lagging behind every other candy there is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like I hate to be. Oh, sorry, Pete. I interrupted you. Go ahead, Pete.
Well, I was just saying that's a good one because you normally think of chocolate. You don't really think of Airheads. Airheads are a little. I like everything about it. Steve's doing a great job. Way better than Case.
So DeVito, I'm going to pick Case as my upset as well. What do we always comment about DeVito's team?
He's an Airhead.
No, he has 3 good players, also known as top heavy. What do we always say is DeVito's most prominent feature?
His head.
La cabeza.
Therefore, he's
an airhead.
top heavy. He's a Tootsie Pop. He's a lollipop. He's top heavy. He's all top. And I had Case as a now and later.
Like a bad flavored one, Mike. Let's jab at him.
Not good flavor, but fine. I have Case as he's my pick. He's my upset this week, and he's a now and later. And he's a now and later for two reasons. One, because there's always some excuse. It's either now or it's later. One quarterback, it's another quarterback. And it's just always something with the guy. But I love a now and later. So I'll take a now and later. Guy won a title last year. Case is my now and later and my upset pick this week. I have no idea if anyone's going to like this podcast. I love it.
Now and laters?
I love now and laters. As you can tell, Pete, I like
now
most.
Some now and laters are pretty good.
Yeah.
Purple ones.
Mike likes
lasting starburst.
I love the purple ones.
The
Mike
purple
likes
one?
spots.
No.
Yes.
They used to hurt my teeth.
I'm a little flustered that
people
tell me they don't like me.
Yeah, DeVito did just come all on you, Case.
No, your team. It's just nauseating.
That's not what he said.
Well,
All right, next game. This is
there's very few people that like you.
Yeah, you think anyone's gonna like this podcast?
Now and laters suck.
Oh,
This
well, let's go to the
podcast,
next game.
New York peppermint patty.
All right.
Speaking of suck, 10 seed Pete taking on Innis. Let's get the preview. Get Candy on the board.
Favorite segue so far.
I am the fourth highest scoring team in scoring in the last month. Innis is 6. If you want to compare me to, it's hard comparing yourself to a candy bar. I don't really know what to do, but I put a Kit Kat bar. I score a lot of points. I can't get a break. And if anyone's ready to do any trades, I'm ready to sell off pieces like a Kit Kat bar. Anyway, Jeff started red hot and then kind of faded. So I'm going to say he's one of those fireballs that like you put in your mouth and then they turn into like one of those hard orbs and you're just kind of
Fireball.
well, yeah, I'm going to say that that's it. Anyway, Innis, if you're looking at the scores or if you're looking at the league, he lost bids on Stafford and Tillman for the waivers this week. So tough waiver period for Jeff Innis and shows that he doesn't have a lot of faith in CJ Stroud. Nothing to rejigger for my team, and I'm going to pick it for the lock. Give me Pete with the lock.
That was good. That was impromptu right there, Pete. That was good.
Yeah, nothing to rejig over here.
Yeah, nothing to read off of
Good.
that.
on the replay on Saturday.
That wasn't on the script either because we talked about that at the beginning of the pod. Way to go off cue there, Pete. Case, I'll bring you in and I'll have you talk about Pete for a little bit here because you love to do two things in this world. Talk about yourself and talk about yourself. So what do you think of Pete's game and his team and who's you picking your candy?
Talk about your daddy.
Pete's lineup beat the living crap out of me last week, so got to give Pete his props. It was a well-constructed lineup, well-constructed team. It just happened to all line up against me, so congrats, Pete. Again, Pete's another one of our OGs, all right, but it's fair to say that Pete has a lasting impact on you. So there's a lot of fun experiences that come in there, but you also find yourself sort of, picking your teeth a little bit based off those experiences. So one of my favorite candy bars, but also one that I regret a little bit afterwards for how much pain it caused me picking this stuff out of my teeth. You're a Butterfinger, Pete, right? Great candy bar, OG, love it. Bart said some comp, but man, pain in the butt can get you out of my teeth later, which I feel like right now.
Thank you.
Who's Jeff?
I don't even know who I want to pick this matchup up. Innis, Innis is one of my favorite people. I love every time I hang out with him, whether it's pod or in person. And I'm going to make a link to one of my favorite candy bars, but one that is relative to his fantasy season, a little bit under the radar and not performing. But I think if he gets it all together, McCaffrey, I think he'll be there for a stretch run like I picked him at the beginning of the year. He's a Reese's fast break.
Ooh,
Wow.
Not because of his speed.
It's kind of a random.
why? I don't get it.
Reese's fast break is terrific. It's peanut butter. It's chocolate. They added some nougat in there for you. It's soft. It's terrific.
So you thinking
It's
Jeff is
not-
soft and terrific?
It's not a classic Reese's peanut butter cup. It's a peanut butter cup with a little bit extra, and that's Jeff Innis to me.
All right. Well, speaking of Jeff Innis, Steve, his roster's clicking pretty nicely.
Jeff.
That's right. Picks. Take Jeff. Lad McConkey's emerged as an every week starter.
Wow.
Jonathan Taylor's back and healthy, and he's their best weapon. Like, do you think Jeff has the characteristics to put together a win against Pete, or do you see an upset as well? Steve?
Uh-oh. That Verizon's failing him.
Steve?
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? All right,
Yeah,
there we go.
All right, there you go.
Everyone froze for a second there.
Landline almost went out there with the
Yeah, it's that old every time you.
Yeah, I think it's
dial
that
in.
odd side of Mill Pod. Honestly,
Um,
I mean, whatever it is.
So Innis's roster scares me. Stroud and Dell scare me because Dell's going to see a healthy dose of Sauce Gardner on a short week. That's a tough matchup for him. Going to see Surtain. So I think it's tough. I have Pete in this one. And as a rollover case, I also have DeLuca as a Butterfinger. You got me still?
Yep.
Yeah, you still there.
You caught your
Pete,
teeth.
you're Butterfinger. You're an established classic. They changed the recipe.
Did they?
They did. Keep going, Steve.
What's he doing?
Going good. Keep going. Ah,
He's gone. He was
that's
getting
bad. I wonder what's going on because he's fine for us.
He's fine for us. I don't know what's going on, but I'll take the reins. I've got Pete. My favorite thing about you is it's always variety. I always got a different roster. I always making moves. You're Skittles to me, buddy. And this week I'm taking Skittles in an upset. And I'm taking Skittles because Jeff Innes is one of two things. He's winning the Super Bowl or he's missing the playoffs. You know what else is? A warhead. Are you getting a really sour warhead or like an average warhead? You never know, and you don't know what you're getting with Jeff. Pop that warhead in your mouth.
Spicy warheads. You remember those?
Super sour warheads. I hate spicy.
Sour. Yeah, sour, not spicy.
But do you remember spicy? They made spicy.
They did?
Cinnamon?
Yes, they made spicy warheads. They had them at Charlie's Mini Mart in 5th grade.
Oh.
Staying corrected.
Remember walking to Charlie's when you were at Stacy? It was the best. They had those giant Charleston chew bars. Oh,
Do you remember how many old men he had staking out in the place to make sure you didn't steal stuff?
so many.
It's like every 4 feet there was an old man going, "Hey, you get out of here, all right?
You're gonna buy that. You're gonna buy that.
You gonna buy that? Get out of here."
Wait, I don't. Do you think anyone's gonna listen to this?
we've had.
This is the most ridiculous podcast. Do we have a game left?
Yeah, we got Breed's matchup, right?
My favorite candy bar is Breen's. Give me Breen and Andy. Let's get the preview.
All right, Breed's the number 10 scoring team over the last month. Andy's the number 8 scoring team over the last month. So this one's a pretty bad one. I have Breed as dots. All his players are named the same. They look exactly the same. I can't tell them apart. And he doesn't change things, just like Dots hasn't changed things in 40 years. So Breed, your Dots to me.
Pete,
What's that?
I love Dots.
All right, yeah, I love Dots too, but is that weird to like Dots? You know what Dots are made out of?
What, glue?
Do you want to know?
No, I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Let's just say it classifies as a meat product.
Oh,
DeVita is the warheads because it just comes all at once. Yeah, so that's how I went with DeVita on that one. I like Andy's team more than Breen. Breen's definitely on the decline, but there's too many holes for Andy, and I don't know how he's going to fill it, so I'm going to pick Breen.
all right. Case, give us your. We're going an hour talking about candy, so do whatever you want to do. We lost Steve, so make your pick. Do whatever.
Well, at least save minutes.
I had fun with these two. So I'll start with Breen, right? A champion, if you will. When you think of candy bars and you get your Halloween candy bags, like it's always in there, right? He's a Three Musketeer for me because it's sort of you take a bite, you think there's going to be a little bit more substance there, and it feels just like empty air. Not a lot to it, right? Which is probably a fair comparison for Kev. For Andy, same candy bar, two different experiences. You throw this thing in the freezer or the fridge, a delectable candy. You put it out at room temperature or warm temperatures, a mess, disgusting, sticky, don't want any part of it. That's Andy with his stack when it's going, a frozen version of this. And when he has a week like this where I don't think he's got enough roster pieces to fill in his lineup or waiver wire guys, you get the hot variety, melty variety. He's a Charleston chew.
Ooh, I love Charleston chew.
Much better cool though, Mike.
Who'd you pick?
I'll take Breen.
I don't know if we're doing picks anymore. Go ahead, Steve. Welcome back. I don't think you did the last game.
Are you keeping track of these or what?
Me?
Yeah, you're the one that's in charge of it. You gonna do anything?
Yeah, I'm keeping.
All you're gonna do is show up and repeat the last 3 things I say every time.
I'm keeping track of it. You're picking at a 48% clip.
Thank you.
Steve, I don't know what you missed on the last game. If you want to go back to the candy bars, you have very bad internet. So kind of do we want to do here? And then I'll close it.
Look at that hair, though.
Is he gone
Honestly.
again?
He's frozen.
What a thing to be frozen on, too. He looks focused. That beard is super. That beard is super great.
I'm going to take Breen in this game. I don't know what Andy's going to do with his roster. One of the things I like about Andy is that he oftentimes is forgettable, but when you need it, you're like, hey, that was a good pull. I'm glad you had that. You know what that is to me? Lifesavers. Who goes to the store and says, I want lifesavers? Nobody does. But if you're out and someone's like, hey, you got bad breath, you'd be like, hey, you want a lifesaver? Boom. Andy DeVita, the weeks he shows up, guy's a lifesaver. So I'm taking Ange as my lifesaver. And my favorite one of the things I love about Kevin, he's always thinking. He's a big thinker, that guy. And if you think about what puts flavor, like chefs always talk about, you want to have diversity of flavors. You want to have sweet and spicy and hot and sour. And they've started to do this thing. It's a very analytical approach to candy. Well, they'll take dark chocolate and they'll sprinkle a little salt on it. Right? Everyone's like, ooh, sweet and salty. How clever. Well, guess what? No one likes sweet and salty, and no one likes dark chocolate with salt. So, Kevin, make a trade, you dark chocolate salty mess, and that's Kevin. I'm taking Kevin this week.
What candy bar is he?
A dark chocolate with sprinkled sea salt on it.
Is there a name for it? It's a homemade.
He's a Russell Stover chocolate.
He couldn't just stick to brand name chocolates. He had to just
bring you Toblerone bar.
He's granola. It's like you couldn't just name normal things for one episode.
Come on, I thought of it.
It's like you take chocolate and you melt it, and then you put salt on it, and you freeze it, and it's salted dark chocolate.
Casey just still talking over me. I guarantee you don't have a boom lock at an upset.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Little chance. I don't even think I made picks. Did I make picks?
I don't know. I gotta give you. This last one was my favorite one.
He's
back.
Back.
Get your shots in while your Wi-Fi works there, cousin Eddie.
Oh, I connected through my phone. I'm good.
Eddie.
So let me back up real quick. I have Pete as I didn't finish. So I got Pete as my phone. I got Innis. He was M&M's. This was my favorite one, the Breen DeVita one. I got to give this one. So Breen was my Cadbury cream egg that was left in the freezer. Pretty gross. Pulling it out and comparing it to the latest version is a stark reminder of how much bigger and better things used to be for Breen.
That's kind of deep.
And DeVita,
I love Cadbury eggs.
DeVita is the chocolate that you find under the seat cushion after it's been there for a couple of months. It used to be a delicacy. It might have been scrumptious, but years of careless neglect have made it a melted mess that no digestive system could stomach.
How do you guys eat a Cadbury cream egg? Do you tongue it out?
Oh, yeah. You got to tongue it.
Pete, do they understand the assignment? They're making up candies lost in couches and
no, it's a melted Hershey's Kiss and a Crest.
A bar, right?
A bread. That was all it was.
It's a candy.
Guys, there is a 0% chance anyone is still listening to this podcast.
At some point, it was scrumptious, but it got lost in the cushions.
No one put that in the requirements for the episode.
All right, someone walk us out. I'm done.
Sprinkle the sea salt.
For Steve, for Brian, I'm Pete. Happy Halloween, everyone. Good luck on week 9.